Welcome back to the table. I'm Chef Alex Reethof. And we got a great show for you today. We're gonna start out with a French lamb chop that we're gonna do Bulgogi style. It's a Korean barbecue. And that Korean barbecue, we're gonna make a Asian pear dripping sauce. We're gonna accompany that with a Peruvian sweet potato, which is made out of a really unique purple sweet potato. You'll wanna see that. We're gonna finish this with fresh seasonal berries of figs, blueberries, and strawberries, tossed in a light cream with pink peppercorns. Very unique style. Stay with us. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the table. I'm Chef Alex Reethof. We are going to do a lamb chop, Korean style, Korean barbecue. It's called Bulgogi, and we're going to start off with a whole rack of lamb, and I'm going to show you how to French the lamb. You can also go to your butcher, and you can have your butcher do this for you, but if you know how to do it. So this is an 8-rib rack of lamb. This is the prime rib of the lamb. This is actually the best part if you want to make an equation to beef. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just insert a knife in the back. We're just going to run it down through and make a little U shape in between each one of the bones. We're going to pull that little strip of meat out. And then we're going to just make this nice little U shape, and you can see that we're pulling it away, and they're having just the free bones right there. So isn't that kind of neat how we just kind of take everything away from it? You can see that then the bone just looks like a big old piece sticking out, and we are actually making what we call lollipops. And they're going to actually look like lollipops when we actually get all the way through. I'm going to go all the way down this rack, and once we get this completely Frenched, it doesn't take much time at all. Just pulling that out. We're going to actually then marinate this. We're going to marinate it with a Korean style marinade. Now the Korean style marinades usually use a combination of garlic, ginger, soy sauce, sesame. And those combined ingredients make an outstanding barbecue. It's absolutely lovely. So we're almost finished Frenching, and then I'll go down between each bone, and we will then make our chops from this. It's a great thing to do on the grill, on the barbecue, and it's great over charcoal as well as over wood, and we're going to do it right here on our stove top. So as you can see, we've got these ribs all about cleaned up, and we're going to put this all aside. And then we go down through the chop itself, and we just get down through the bone. And look, we're making these great rib chops right here. Look at it. Doesn't it look great? And you can hang on to them like this. So this is how we make them, so that they're actually like a lollipop, right? I'm going to take these, try to make them all about the same size. Beautiful lamb. It's got great marbling in it. It's absolutely a delight to have any time of year. And we'll leave that last one with 2 ribs in it, because then they're all the same size. And you can see this is what we have right here. Doesn't that look great? So, from this point, let's go ahead and make our marinade. So, what I'm going to do is take my processor here. I'm going to take some soy sauce. And I've got some low sodium soy sauce that is gluten-free. I'm going to add that to I've got some dark sesame oil. I'm going to add a splash of that. We're going to blend all of this. This has got some great nutty flavor to it. And this is called aji marin. It is a sweet cooking wine, rice wine. It's made out of rice. It's very sweet. It's got beautiful flavor. It's a little on the syrupy side. I'm going to take some garlic. Never enough garlic in this. And I'm going to take a little bit, I'm going to take a couple of these guys out and save them for something else that I'm going to do. We're going to make a dripping sauce too. And then I'm going to take some fresh ginger. And with fresh ginger, the way we work with fresh ginger is this. There are lots of fibers in fresh ginger. And the fibers all go one direction. You can see they all go this direction. So I'm going to just take a little bit of a peel off of it. And by the way, there's multiple ways to peel ginger. A lot of people just take it, scrape it on the back and just pull this off. That way, look at the juice just pouring out of this. And I'm just gonna trim this up like this. And this will make as our waste, or I could use this for actually another sauce as well. So I'm gonna take the ginger then, and I'm gonna cut it straight down across those fibers. You can see the fibers in them sticking out. I'm gonna cut across those fibers, and I'm gonna take some of this ginger, I'm gonna put it right in with my garlic. And I'll save a little bit of that for later. I've also got some green onions. Green onions are lovely. I like to use green onions in lots of things because there's two different flavors in green onions, two different sides. There's the white part, which has its own little flavor. It's a little more intense. And then the green part is a much lighter flavor and gives us great color too. So I'm gonna basically take this, I'm gonna cut them in half, and I'm gonna use some of each. So I'm gonna take some of this, and I'm just gonna cut it right down through, and I'm gonna put this into our marinade. And I'm also gonna take some of the other ends. I'm gonna put them into our marinade. They also make for a great garnish. I'm gonna leave these right aside. And I'll take some of these, I'll line them up, and I'll just take my knife right down through it, and I'll just put these in too. This food processor will do a great job with that. If you just wanna put them in whole like this, it'll take care of it that way. We're also gonna add some sesame seeds. These are pre-toasted sesame seeds. They're already ready to go. They're gonna grind up a little bit in our marinade, but also plenty of them will stay whole. I'm gonna add some sugar to it. Sugar is key to this, to make a nice, deep, actually rich, flavored marinade. I'm gonna take this, put my lid on, and we'll just let it go. We'll let this go for just a couple seconds until everything's blended well. Doesn't that look great? Oh yeah. I'm gonna take my chops and I'm gonna put them right in here with the bone up in my bowl. You can use a Ziploc bag just fine. It'll work the same way. And I'm gonna take my marinade and I'm gonna pour this all over it. And we're gonna let this rest for 4 hours or up to 24 hours. And in doing so, that allows that marinade to penetrate the meat and add great, great flavor to it. Well, for the sake of time, what we've done today is I went ahead and have some already pre-marinated. So what we're gonna do is pull this out, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like with a finished product. So these are a French chop, all ready to go, already pre-marinated. This is what the marinade looks like. It looks lovely. It's sticking to the bones, sticking to the meat, and turning it a little bit darker color, and it's all ready for the griddle. So what I have over here is a hot griddle ready to go. And all I want to do is sear the outside of this. So I'm going to take these chops into a hot pan, and hopefully we'll have a nice little sizzle to this. Oh yeah, can you hear that sizzle? That's what we're looking for. I'm going to put a few of these chops in. And while these chops are going, and they're getting a little bit marked and the sear to it, I'll leave these here for later. So, yeah, we'll let them go. I'm gonna just sear them on one side, we'll flip them over, we'll pull them off, and at the same time I'm making an Asian pear dripping sauce for that. Now I've got an Asian pear. These are absolutely beautiful. They're big, they're juicy, they actually have a little flavor like an apple, but they have the great consistency and juiciness of a pear. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna peel this. I'm gonna take the outside off, and we're gonna use just the outer part. We're gonna put it in with our, make it almost like our marinade, but we're gonna add the pear to it. So you can see I'm pulling all of this off. I'm gonna put this into our blend, I'm gonna go right around like this. Oh yeah, you can just feel it. Look at the juice just pouring out of this. Oh yeah, so we're gonna just take this off, and it goes into our food processor. Very similar mix to what we just made with our marinade, only we've got a pear as well to go with it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic. I'm gonna add a little bit of ginger. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. I'm gonna add our green onions into this as well. I'm gonna add our soy, similar to what we had before. A little bit of our toasted sesame oil, dark sesame oil. It's going to give us a good, deep, rich flavor. Aji marin, which is the rice, sweet We're going to add toasted sesame seeds. All right, we're ready to blend. We're going to let that go. Meanwhile, I'm going to come back and I'm going to start turning over our lamb. We got some good marks on the lamb. That's exactly what we're looking for, some good lines. And it's searing nice and it's caramelizing really, really well. The sugars are actually caramelizing on the outside. It's a beautiful look. So here we go. We got our Asian dripping sauce. Oh, doesn't that look lovely? So, what I'm going to do with the Asian dripping sauce, we're going to drizzle that over top. When we pull the chops off, and in the meantime, I'm going to make a little bit of a garnish. So I'm going to take some green onions. You'll see what we do with these green onions. I'm going to take them and cut them at a nice little angle like this. We can pull that off the side and use it again. And I'm going to make a nice little piece over here like this. We're just going to make a little incision in the top. And you can see as this time goes, it'll spread right on out. It'll make like a nice little garnish that we're going to lay over top. All right, so I've got a plate. Let's bring the plate over. I got my little garnish here. Let's see how our chops are doing. I'm going to take one chop and lay it across here. One here. We'll turn off that heat. Now, I happen to have some of this dripping sauce already chilled. Let me bring it out. I'm going to show you how we lay this on each one of our chops. Just going to do a nice little layer across each chop. And it's got great pear flavor. And the pear is making this stand up like a heavy, almost like an apple sauce. And I can take a little drop around. Just make it on the plate because this is so good. You want to have plenty of it to be able to swish into your lamb. So there we have it. Lamb chops Frenched, Bulgogi style, Korean barbecue. Now look, you want to stay with us because the next thing we're going to do is a Peruvian sweet potato dish that is made out of purple sweet potatoes, and it's absolutely fantastic, so stay with us. We have a unique sweet potato. It's a Peruvian sweet potato dish, and I want to walk you through the ingredients right now. We've got purple sweet potatoes. That is very unique, it's very colorful, and it's lovely. We're also going to use some smoked pork belly, some shallots, a little bit of garlic, and some butter, and a little olive oil just to keep this all into a mashed state. So, what we're going to do first, we've got purple sweet potatoes. They look like this. They look like any normal sweet potato. They're firm, and they got a white outer skin. We're going to drop these into the water that's already boiling, a little bit of salt in it. We're going to drop them down, and we're going to cook them for about 15 minutes until they're nice and soft and tender in the inside. When they come out, they look like this with the skins still on them, and you squeeze them, and they're soft and they're tender, and they just kind of press in a little with your fingers. And then we'll peel them, and they'll look like this. Isn't this the most amazing color? We're going to start by taking our pork belly, and we're going to chop it in nice fine little dices. We're going to just go right down through it, and you'll see that this is nice and firm, but it's also very meaty. We'll just line this up, and we'll just cut it across, and it goes right into our pan, and we're going to render this down until it releases a lot of its flavor and juices, and that's going to be an integral part of what we use. So in the pot we go. Nice hot pan. You can hear that sizzle. That's exactly what we're looking for. I'll pull this out. I am going to add a little butter to this just to keep it going. Keep it a little bit moist on it. Add a little flavor to it. I got a little butter right here. And it'll melt right down on top of it, and that's just fine. We're going to add to it some shallots. Shallots are lovely. One of the things that chefs love to do is use shallots. So these are little onions, and The beautiful thing about a shallot is if you eat it raw, it is really, really powerful. And it'll take over your mouth and you won't be able to taste anything for hours. But if you cook it, it's sweet as butter. So we're just going to peel the outer layer of this, and chefs use lots and lots of shallots. I'm going to cut this down, and then we're just going to do a little julienne. Nice little thin cut, thin strips. We're going to put this in with our smoked bacon, smoked pork belly, and in we go with that. We're going to let these all render down, these flavors just meld together. And I got one more here, we'll do that. These are purple, ironically. These shallots are purple in color. When they cook down, they'll turn opaque clear, and we'll get all that sweetness to it. Going in. In we go. We're also going to add to this a little bit of garlic. Don't need a lot of garlic because I don't want to overpower this. I know that's hard for you to believe that I'm saying not a lot of garlic. But in this case, we're going to go nice and gentle with the garlic. I've got a few pieces right here. Just going to give them a little smash on the side. And then we're just going to give them a quick chop. And we'll get ready to put those in a little bit closer to the end. There we go. We're all ready to go here with our cutting board. I'm going to set this right off to the side, and we're going to put that in just a second. So next, I'm going to stir what we have going here with a wooden spoon, and we're just going to keep all this moving. And you can see all the, oh, it smells just fantastic. We need to smell a cam over here, don't we? We're going to let, until these shallots just kind of render with it, with the pork. We're going to add the purple sweet potatoes next. What I want to show you is how easy it is to take these sweet potatoes, once they've been boiled a little bit, till they're tender. Let's see just how easy they are to work with. So I take my sweet potato right here. Simply make one little cut, and I just come right around the outside with my paring knife. And I go right around it, and you can see it just comes off really easy. Look at that great purple color in the inside. And I just peel this off really easy. And these are not hot right now. I let them cool a little bit, and that is key. You don't want to be handling them too hot because they're a little bit hard to handle when they're hot. They hold their heat very well. It's a nice dense piece. Look at the color inside there. Isn't that a remarkable color? So, how about uniqueness for this purple sweet potato? I'm going to take this and put it right in the middle. And I'm going to take some of these over here that I have already cooked. Beautiful color. I'm just going to make a nice little, look at that color, huh? Isn't that stunning? I'm going to take these and just cut them across because they have fibers in them. I'm going to put them right in the middle here, and then we're going to start mashing them down with our wooden paddle. There we go. You can hear it sizzling going on. I'll make just enough for us to make a nice little plate full of. There we go. And now we're going to put our garlic in. I'm going to put it in around the outside and let it saute just gently on the outside here. And then I just start chopping this up with my wooden pallet and just mixing this all in. And you'll see we're going to make our own little mashed potato right here in the pan. And it's going to be an absolutely wonderful accompaniment. This is great for a change in the holidays. It's great for any time in the fall, spring. These purple sweet potatoes can be found at different markets around. I got these at the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market and in Atlanta. And they are one of those things that just makes for a great, great, great side dish. Very unique, very interesting. You see that color coming out? It stays right there with it, that whole purple color. And I'm just going to cook this gently. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit in my pan so this can just simmer lightly. We're making partial mash, partial chunk. And we are almost ready to plate this up. Yeah, isn't that looking great? See how it's mashing very easily? It's real soft, real tender. That purpleness looks like it's even getting darker. Because when you put it in the boiling water, if you cut it in half, as you put it in the water, it's lightly purple. As you cook it more, that purple color goes all throughout that whole potato. And here we are cooking it some more. All right. And we're almost finished with this side dish. You see how easy and quick this can be done. This is a great thing to do for the holidays where you don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time making things when you can be more with your family. All right, ready to plate? Got a nice little plate right here. This can be a main dish as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these sweet potatoes. I'm going to make a nice little pile right in the middle. Doesn't that look good? Can even be the center of the plate for you. I'll turn that off. And all I'm going to do is take a little bit of sweet potato right here. I'm going to make a little crown of sweet potato. I'm going to take my knife and make a little stab in it. I'm going to make a little crown, something that you've probably never seen before. Let's see how this comes out. Isn't that awesome? I'll take a little piece of pork and put it right in the side. So there we have a Peruvian sweet potato using purple sweet potatoes. And you want to stay with us because when we come back, we're going to do an outstanding berry dessert with a little bit of pink peppercorns and cream. So stay with us. Now for the grand finale, we're going to take fresh seasonal berries and we're going to toss them in fresh pomegranate juice, cream, and pink peppercorns to give it just a little added flavor, a little bit of heat to it. So let's start in with what we have here for ingredients. We've got fresh seasonal strawberries, fresh blueberries, we've got fresh figs, which are delightful. I've got cream, pomegranate juice, and we're going to use agave for a sweetener. But we also have pink peppercorns. And pink peppercorns are unique in that they're a very, very mild peppery flavor. And they go great with any kind of dessert or fresh berries. Just gives it that little extra zip and zing to it. We also have fresh made pound cake. Fresh made pound cake, do you know why they call it pound cake? It's because they used to put a whole pound of butter in this cake. I don't think they quite do that anymore, but it's wonderful, it's dense, it's got great flavor, a little vanilla to it. So we're going to use this as well. And we're going to chunk this up. So we're going to make it in small cubes so it'll toss up with the berries and blend right in with it. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is take our bowl and we're going to add our pomegranate juice to the bottom of our bowl. And this pomegranate juice is absolutely delightful. It's a great transition or change from cranberry juice. It's got great sweetness to it, great depth. It's known for its antioxidants. It's really, really beautiful. We're going to add some cream. And cream is lovely. Look at that beautiful color we're going to add to this. Oh, it's going to mix it in there. It's going to look like actually something right out of an ice cream cone. Now I'm going to sweeten it up with agave. And agave is actually the nectar of cactus. And it's 2 to 3 times sweeter than sugar. It's already liquefied. It's beautiful. It's got a nice amber color. We're just going to give it a big old squeeze in there. About 1/4 to 3/4 of a cup. That would be a ½ cup is what we used. I'm going to take some blueberries and we're going to dump that right in. Beautiful blueberries. We've got all the stems removed except for one in there. You always have one that wants to stick out with a stem. I'll save that guy for later. And then I'm going to take some figs. And these figs are beautiful. They're like right off the tree. They got some dense, it's a real dense fruit. I'm going to take the very top of it off. And then I'm going to lay it on set it on my cutting board and cut it into straight down through the top. And there we have this luscious fruit inside. Isn't that beautiful? Great seasonal fruit. It's fresh. Oftentimes figs are either put in a can or they're actually dried. This time they're actually fresh. We're going to take those right on in. Got to use all of those. They're absolutely fantastic. And then I'm going to take strawberries. And all I'm going to do with the strawberry is I like so much of the strawberry. I'm going to take my paring knife, cut right down through the top. And I'm going to core that out Just make a little crater inside, and then just like the fig, I'm going to cut them into quarters, laying the flat side down, and in they go as well. And these are beautiful berries this time of year. You can get them almost any time of the year because they grow them all over the world and they bring them in. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take these berries and I'm going to toss them in as well. And you can see this is just a beautiful, beautiful fresh dessert. It's very light. I'm going to take our pound cake and I'm going to cut a piece of pound cake off. And I'm going to set this aside. And I'm just going to cut some strips. We're going to make some nice little cubes about the size of our fruit because we want everything to be about uniform in size in this dessert. I'm going to lay them on their side, and then we'll go ahead and make down some nice little cubes. And we're going to put this in at the very end with our pink peppercorns, and it's just that simple. Then we're going to plate this, and it is an absolutely superb way to end a great meal. Here we go. All right, so I've got all these. We're going to lay these right on top. So you can see how we're building this. And now I've got the pink peppercorns. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the pink peppercorns. We're going to take them and lay them on a cutting board. And I'm going to make a little tent like with my hand. And we're going to just try to capture all these little pink peppercorns that are going to jump away. Keep them from jumping. All I'm trying to do is just break them up a little bit. You can use the side of your knife and you can see them there smash just a little bit so you don't get a whole peppercorn in each bite. That's all we're looking for. So we got a little chop. You can see how you can hear the crunch, but they are very soft. They're not like a black peppercorn or a green peppercorn that are really, really heavy duty. There's kind of like a hollow middle to them. All right, so we've got those kind of coarsely chopped and in they go. And it's going to have a nice look to it with these little berries. So what I'm going to do is set my knife down, bring this over into the middle, and I'm just going to stir this real gently because we don't want to break up our cake too much. So you can see what we have here. Just stir it gently and let everything meld in. Oh, you can see those pink peppercorns just popping right out at it. And that cake is soaking up that wonderful flavors that we have here. And I'm going to plate this up and show you how to end this great meal with a super dessert. So I'm going to take this and make sure we get a little bit of everything on here. Put it right down in the middle. Going to get a few extra berries on top. A couple of figs. We'll get that going this way. And you can see the peppercorns in this. Is that just a delightful looking dessert? Very light, very fresh. It's a great way to go. I also want to show you the plate that we have with our lamb chops, done Bulgogi style, with a Asian pear dripping sauce. It's all accompanied with our Peruvian purple sweet potatoes. This is an absolutely glorious way to entertain guests and family. I also want to thank Theron here at Guy T. Gunther's studio for this great facility we were able to work in on the Wolf Sub-Zero products, as well as the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market for the fantastic fruits and vegetables and other ingredients we use to prepare this super, super meal that we have here today. I'm Chef Alex Reethof, bringing you back to the table, and I hope to see you soon.